I will call to order the September 9th meeting of the Village Council. If you will rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and pray with me. Lord God, we just thank you for Wesley Chapel, for our state, for our country, Lord. We thank you for the blessings you give us and for the safety that you provide us. We also thank you for the ones that you've put in place to provide us safety, Lord. We ask tonight that in the actions that we do, the words we say, and the thoughts we have, we do all of those in a way that will honor you. We pray in your name of Jesus. Amen.
That brings us to public comments. Do we have the sign-in sheet anywhere? Jonathan, if you would come to the podium and state your name and last name that I never said correctly for the record, that'd be great. Your address.
Jonathan Aliff at 4899 Winding Lane. I'm here today to just bring up the fact that the annexation paperwork that we have available on our website that we can take to our neighbors and our friends that are keyholes is last updated in 2008. So I was just wanting to ask the council to direct planning board staff, whoever should be doing that, to be updating that paperwork so that we have something a little more modern updated. So we take it to our neighbors to try to introduce the idea of closing the keyholes, that we have updated documentation that has what they need to be doing, what they need to be filling out, and how they can be approaching it.
Thank you, sir. All right. So that brings us to the additions, deletions, and adoption of the agenda. Deb, I think you had something you wanted to...
Yeah, I want to remove item 8. They had their last meeting in July, and we've already reported on that in August.
Does anybody else have any changes or additions or deletions? Then I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. That brings us to the consent agenda. Just real quick, the 2 resolutions that were added. Item D is the resolution, council. We've already talked about it and approved the $4,000 commitment for the stormwater, for the critical intersection engineering study. This is the second one, so that's what that resolution is for. And item E, unbeknownst to the village, until it got up, we were unaware of the traffic signal at Potter and Wesley Chapel. So that is simply the resolution to support the use and installation of that traffic light. We did not pay anything for it. And we are still hoping that it turns into a roundabout next year. So that's just the 2 items that were added. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion, but I've got a question.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, David?
Given the fact that it's up, is sending the resolution for the traffic signals, what benefit is that going to provide us?
We have to have it, but
Okay.
Vaughn can speak to it.
In order to use the type of funding that they're using for the installation, they have to have a resolution of support from the local government.
Okay.
And he emailed me, but we didn't really want to call a special meeting for it. We just
He
decided.
emailed it about a week after the last council meeting.
Yeah, so we just said we put it on this agenda. And he was good with that. So any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, that brings us to the presentations. Item A is DAR Constitution Week. I'm asking council to approve a resolution for Constitution Week. September 17th marks the 275th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution. So we have been asked to recognize it by Daughters of the American Revolution. And I am proclaiming Constitution Week, and we will be posting this on our website and on our social media, hopefully. So Constitution Week, starting September 17th is the 237th anniversary. The next item is the UCPS school bond referendum. They have asked to come and present. I don't think so. Sorry, I did. They have asked to come and present again. If you remember, they came and spoke and presented their last school bond at a meeting. So if you know anybody who wants to learn more about the school bond that is being issued, they will be giving a brief presentation at our October meeting. And that is all. That brings us to item 6 with our finance officer report.
Everything is flowing smoothly. We had a tiny bit of tax money come in today for July for the first part of this fiscal year. I don't have anything significant to report, and I do want to just inform council that when I do have moves or things that I need, I bring them to you on those budget to budget or budget to revenue to budget worksheets, so that keeps you formally informed of most of the things that I do. So typically week to week I won't have a lot to report unless I see an issue.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Queen? Okay. Parks and Rec report. Ms. Utley, if you will come and grace us with all the good news.
Well, I don't really have much. We weren't able to meet last month because we had a quorum. But we do have an event coming this Friday. It's our movie night. So,
Kathy was telling me we have over 100 people signed up with the Facebook page. Kathy,
I'm sorry?
we have over 100 people signed up for movie night.
Yes, or not signed up, but saying they're interested,
Okay.
which usually it's a high number for that event.
Weather's going to be a factor though.
well, we're keeping an eye on that. So like as of Thursday, you know, this hurricane telltale, whatever you call it, it's supposed to be like 70% chance of rain Friday and Saturday, so we might have to come up with, I don't know what the contingency is for Union County. Would we just rebook with them?
That's what we did last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the movie night before last was like 2 years ago, and they gave us an alternate date, so I haven't heard back yet.
It took like a year, but we finally did make it happen.
It's okay. So, and then the other thing, and actually Gordon and I were just talking about this week, with the condition, I've been seeing the memos that are going out about the park. You know, just for council to give thought, do we want to move forward with events? Is this going to be, is the park going to be in a dangerous kind of?
So we are going to talk about that when we get to 11A,
Okay,
and council's going to have to make some decisions about that.
okay.
Yeah,
But that would be,
because it is a big deal.
and we do have, and that kind of ties up with, we've had a few committee members, and we're struggling with volunteers, and the fall bash is probably just about a hair over a month out, and so we really want to kind of get confirmation from people that they want to volunteer, but we also want to know that we're going to have a safe situation for our guests.
Do we not have a couple volunteers waiting in the wings that are just waiting for the next meeting to be,
We do, but we have not heard. They were supposed to come to the next meeting, which was the last one. But
Well, hopefully after tonight, with the new committee paperwork and then our decisions about the dam, hopefully we can
some direction. Yeah,
give you some much needed direction.
so other than that, that's really all I have.
and remind me what the, if we have the movie night, what's the movie?
Jungle, right?
The original?
The original. We're going vintage.
All right, so
Yeah, old school.
All right, thank you, Pat.
Pat, if we do have the events at the park, we still can use parking, but we have to make a walk around the pond to get to the event.
Which is what we're going to talk about when we get to that portion. 11A. All right, so planning, we have Chair Kennery here. If you would also, Chair Kennery got a shout out on the Union County Sheriff's Office page today, so thank you. How awesome he was. He served during 9/11 and then he continues his public service today.
Yeah. So obviously, coming up this week on 9/11 will be the 23rd anniversary of that date. It actually happened on a Tuesday, which was primary day in the city of New York, and it was a beautiful Carolina blue sky. I was there with many others, and I was very happy to make it to the next day, the 12th, which was a very long day. But as we move forward now, our last planning board meeting was another packed house. Our special guest from Heritage, we did it via the telephone, since there was a communication mix-up. We approved the final plat for Heritage via the telephone. We did have questions about the county approving certain things, and I know Ms. Hines was looking into that. And then the rest of our meeting was on discussion about traffic here in the lovely village of Wesley Chapel. It will work well for, what is it, 9 houses left?
What's that?
9 houses left?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 houses, so we all agreed to approve it and have it move forward. Obviously, that's why you see it today. And Ms. Hines will speak at the rest. I don't remember speaking about encroachment, the sewers, what's on there?
Well, I mean, I can get it.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
So that was our part. Our part of the meeting was very, basically quick, and we used it. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. All right, Mike, did you have a question?
Well, I think we're just on A, right?
Yeah.
My question was answered for you.
Okay. All right, so planner comments.
Well, we actually had 4 houses being built, so we're working on a few things in the village. Got 4 new houses under construction. Since our last meeting, a couple of new additions. And we have also had the official submittal for some property at Village Commons.
Personnel for what? Village
The
Commons.
Village Commons.
Is the Chase Bank open yet?
Well, we've issued all of our stuff for the CI. I know that they were still, I think it's officially open. They had to do a few things interiorly. They had to get CO from us so that they could then move in all their equipment. I don't, after that, I don't know what their official date was to open, but. So we've
Taco
issued
Bell
it.
should be breaking ground.
And Taco Bell, yes, their general contractor called me the other day and wanted to make sure they had everything from the village so they could start all their permits from Union County, so y'all should start seeing some work very soon.
Well, when Taco Bell opens, I hopefully they give away some free tacos or something, but I'm more interested if the bank opens, when they're going to start giving out some free money.
Well, that's exciting.
That I
That's
don't
exciting.
know about.
Exciting to have some
So-
submittals for Aston,
Submittals are happening,
or for Village Commons.
yes.
Okay. County store, any more, Emily? Okay. Any questions for Emily?
So the submittals, does that get us to completion, or does that get us to what percentage would be still left? Any idea?
No, they did not submit for everything they're phasing it. There are 3 buildings that they submitted zoning grants for.
So this would be the first phase of,
The
How
first
many
phase
total?
of this, yes, of what's
Okay.
going on now.
have they told us how many different phases there are to follow this?
They-
At least,
no, Village Commons.
there are 2 large buildings, a medium-sized building, a set of small buildings, another medium-sized building. They don't know the order, beyond what they've submitted for now, they don't know the exact order in which the rest will be completed. Some of it depends on their leasing activity.
But Emily and I discussed it. They've submitted a retail building, which will probably have 2 leasers, a grocery store, and a medical office building. That's what
And
they've
what nail
said.
salon?
Medical office.
But when your neighbors start complaining, we do not approve what they have in there. When they got their shopping center approved back in the day, they were given a list of things that they could put in, and they're going off that list. We cannot approve or deny if it's on that list. So I know people aren't gonna be excited about another grocery store. Toughen up, Buttercup. All right.
Emily, also, are we completely done with those property cleanups that we talked about in the last couple of months? Are those completely done?
That's actually, I haven't been working on
sorry,
that. Kathy's been working on those.
We put that behind us for
It's
now.
done.
We sent out a couple of notices, maybe 5 or 6, and we haven't followed up on those to date.
And the sign sweeps are still going strong.
Sign sweeps are still going very strong and not having any issues there.
We seem to have a lot of repeat offenders on site trips. Are we,
We have him do a little chart. We have him complete a chart of where he picks signs up at. Amy, what do you see? Amy manages his production.
It's on average about, he gets paid average about $90 a sign sweep.
He picks up, what, 18 to 20 signs?
18, 20 signs.
are we going to the extra effort of calling them and saying, hey, look, we swept your signs, and by the
Yeah.
way, we'd like them not to come back again?
But from last month's meeting, yes. And I think I called 1 or 2 people, so, and it's just sporadic whether you get a response or not.
And honestly, when we first started this, the first several months we tried to do this, we tried calling everybody, and we couldn't get people ignored us, and we did send out, just for effect, we sent out a $3,000 fine, and he removed his signs promptly, and we haven't heard from him again. We told him if we saw another sign, we'd enforce it, so we found that it was just very difficult to contact and get people to listen to us and to keep their signs off the ground. It's much more effective to have them picked up.
So was that an agenda item that we missed, having a code enforcement update?
I didn't see it on there, I thought that was...
We should probably put it on the general updates, just so we always have an item. We want to add, do y'all want it under infrastructure developments or under general updates all the time?
I think we could have a separate line item for code enforcement like we did planning, just code enforcement.
I agree.
It's a
It's a
good idea.
department.
All right, so we will add a code enforcement line item. Okay. All right, any more questions about code enforcement before we move to the county stormwater update? All right, Vaughn, do you have anything to share about the county stormwater update?
Haven't heard me.
Okay. Hopefully we'll hear some peeps soon. Encroachment study update. We have received 2 requests for qualifications. We will be having, or we will be reviewing these and probably getting some quotes for work, and hopefully we'll bring a contract back to council at our October meeting. But we did receive 2 requests, or we received 2 statement of qualifications. And one of them is here tonight. That's Mr. Josh Allen from, it's abbreviated, SWCA Environmental Consultants.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will be reviewing these and hopefully have something to present to council at the October meeting. And then final plat, Heritage Phase 12.
What we're bringing before you tonight is the final plat, is 9 lots of Heritage subdivision. The planning board at their meeting on August 25th made a conditional recommendation of approval. The conditions were the receiving confirmation of the approval of the retaining walls, the water and sewer from Union County, and receiving confirmation of approval from NCDOT on the roads. I've spoken with the developer, he has that information, he does have all the approvals for that, and he's said he's going to get me those tomorrow.
Is there anything outstanding from the initial approval?
No, it was just paperwork.
Streetlights, mailboxes, things that we always seem to run across at the very last minute.
No, I mean, and I've been out there, they're building as fast as they can, they're submitting stuff to me as fast as they can for their approvals for the other stuff, and it's ready.
I just remember back in the day, we had an issue with the distance between streetlights and all kinds of little
Don't worry.
tiny
He's
issues.
working fast, we can get it on the chapel.
That was my predecessor, we're good now.
Okay.
All right, so we need a motion from council.
Motion to approve final phase of Heritage Phase 12.
Second the motion with no questions.
Sure.
Council, are we okay approving this with the belief that we will have everything that we need from the county?
Well, and as I said, I spoke to the developer just a few minutes ago, and I explained to him that probably, not to put words in your mouth, but probably what y'all would do is conditionally approve it, giving me the authority, once I get all that paperwork, that I could then sign the plat.
Then, my
And he
second,
was totally
So rescind your second,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
rescind your
I'll
second,
rescind
rescind
my
your
motion to
motion, and I'll do
rescind.
it again.
Motion to approve final stage of Heritage pending conditions of, that our planner specifically noted. Provided all the paperwork gets submitted and she's happy with it, I think we should approve it.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
That puts the ball in your court.
That's where I like it.
He's very happy. All right, so that brings us to, any more questions for the planner before we move forward?
Oh, did you take care of all the problems as far as, was there an issue with the smell?
Yeah, that's, I'm in Union County and the Colt are kind of working through some issues. I think we're close to resolution on that, but.
What were you going to figure out the cause was?
No, I think we would do something with the manhole lids, put some filters down on the manhole lids. I think that's where the last of it was left. I know they talked about rerouting the line, and looking through it. I think they have a consultant involved in working through whatever, fixing that problem.
But that's not a problem we deal with, that's a problem
No,
the HOA deals
we
with.
don't have any problem over on this place.
That's the county. Right.
When you can, issue.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that, because I know that it had been an issue from day one.
Yeah, I think it's in like phase 3, and we're way back at the backside. It's how a force main comes into a gravity manhole in the street, and there was a smell there, but it was an approved plan accepted by the county. But, so now we're trying to work through kind of a resolution, trying to fix it. Or I think we've narrowed it down, I think we're close.
As long as we don't have residents from your neighborhood showing up at our meetings and yelling at us like we had control of it.
Right, right.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Okay. So that brings us to the committee consideration. Basically, what I did was took the Communications Committee charter and merged it with the Parks and Rec charter. A few changes at the vote of council. One was removing non-residents from the committee. Council has had a chance to remove multiple edited versions of the document, of the procedures. No major changes other than non-residents from committees. We did say the current non-resident would be able to serve out the remainder of the term. The big things I need from council tonight are to approve the procedures, figure out a name for the committee, dissolve the two committees, and create this one so I can appoint the members.
One thing I'd like to point out is I talked to Pat Huntley just before the meeting, and I asked her if she'd had a chance to review this, because I know we've had a few revisions of this final document. She said she did receive it, but just today. So she hasn't really had a chance to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Right, but this is council's document, so
No, I
we'll
understand
send
that,
it.
but I think council would appreciate any feedback. that the committee
It's
had.
basically the same two documents mixed together. So once we approve and get it started, they are welcome to review it and send any concerns they have back to us, but let's keep the ball
No,
rolling.
I do not want to hold this up
Keep
in
the
any way,
ball.
shape, in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to make that notation.
So I have it right here to send the document to members after they are appointed, so they can review it and discuss it at first meeting. So, council, I heard from everybody but one, their edits and changes, so I'm assuming we can move forward with approving it.
What about the name? You want the name?
Oh, yes, let's do the name. Deb, you said, I can't remember.
Events and Programs Committee.
I said
Since it-
Resident Advisory Committee. Somebody said
Since they're going to be doing some educational programming, I just thought programs, events, they're going to be doing events, and they're going to be doing educational programs, so I thought events and programs committee.
I like that.
I'm good with that.
You good with that, David? Events and Programs Committee? Love it. Sounds very impressive. So I need a motion to adopt the procedures for the newly combined Events and Programs Committee.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
And any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. So now I need a motion to dissolve the Parks and Rec Committee and the Communications Committee.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, and then I need a motion to create the new Events and Programs Committee.
Second. One question, qualification. What's the new number of people on this committee?
8.
8. Okay, so quorum would have to be 5.
Well, based on some research we did, because we know that there's been a problem with having the number of full seats filled. The new procedure states a majority of all filled seats. So if there are 5 filled seats and 3 vacant seats, it's the majority of 5.
So there would be 8 members plus any alternates?
No alternates.
No alternates, okay.
8 members. So, but if there's an open seat, that won't count towards getting
That
to your
makes
board.
sense.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
So that's a motion and a second. All in favor? Woo-hoo, we have a new committee. So now we need to make appointments to the new committee. Many of you are here tonight. We have the term ending dates rotating off, kind of like they were in the previous committees. So I will go through them, and if they are here,
Mayor Fuller, it's probably my oversight, but can we also dissolve the Communications Committee?
we resolved them both in one motion.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Oh, they're both in there, my bad, thank you.
So I tried to kind of take people's term ending dates and get them as close as I could. So for seat number 1, I would like to appoint Mr. Joel Down with a term ending date of the same, of 6/30/2027. Okay, seat number 2, Mr. Gordon Oliver. I did the best I could do, Gordon. You cool staying with us till 6/30/2027? Okay. Pat Utley, I have you as seat 7, also not abandoning us until June 30th, 2027. Are you okay with that? Thank you. Then Wayne Todd, he is not here, so we're just going to approve him anyway, with a term ending date. So I nominate Joel, Gordon, and Pat with term ending dates of 6/30/2027. Joel seat 1, Gordon seat 2, Pat seat 7. Wayne is seat 3 with a term ending date of 6/30/2026. Julie is a term ending date of 8/11/2025, and then we will reset that date. And Chris, you wanted your date to end in December, or, okay. So, and then Chris will be seat 8 for 12/13/2024. And then that leaves us with 2 seats, and we have 3 applications. On our new procedures, and previously we spoke about having interested people visit the committee to kind of learn more about what it's about, and then to also come to a council meeting to introduce themselves. So I know Aaron's here. Is Janet Brower or Ted Dell?
Ted's not here
He
today.
couldn't come, he's had something going on.
Okay. But he has been to a council meeting, but has he been to a Parks and Rec?
He was here last month.
Has he been to a Parks and Rec meeting?
He was planning on coming to the one that got
Okay.
bumped.
Okay. So if he can come to the next one, we'll get him appointed at the next council meeting.
Do we have copies of the applications? We usually get those for volunteers.
I think we did for last month's packet.
I don't remember seeing it last month.
Amy, did you send out the packet, the applications? I can look.
I did not, but I can attach them real quick.
Maybe it was at the Parks and Rec meeting I saw.
I'm sorry?
So we have one candidate here, so if she would like to come up to the podium and state her name and address and why she would like to be a member of our newly created Events and Programs Committee.
Congratulations. Good evening, Mayor Fuller, Village Council. My name is Erin, E-R-I-N. My last name is LaCroix, L-E-C-R-O-Y. And I live at 911 Billy Howie Road in Wesley Chapel. I have applied to join the Village of Wesley Chapel Parks and Recreation Committee, but now we have a new committee. So I'm applying for a seat there. I am a 29-year resident of Wesley Chapel. Well, before there was even a Wesley Chapel officially. When my family moved way out here, when I was 12 from Weddington, we were a very small community. I grew up with knowing everyone. I remember when I was young, my family, but especially my mom, being very involved in our community. We helped with the annual barbecue at the volunteer fire department. Once, I can't remember who, but some entity wanted to put in a wastewater facility just down the road from us. I saw my mom with petitions, making phone calls, and finally enlisting the help of a state senator to stop it. When everyone decided they wanted to form the village, again, I saw her with petitions, writing letters, making phone calls, and finally, the village was formed. In the beginning, the village had a newsletter, and she helped name it The Villager. This sort of civic-mindedness is something that is obviously burned into my heart. Personally, I enjoy nothing more than being outside and gardening, spending time with my family and my children, and working hard in my community. My two sons, 10 and 7, are both in school, and I fill my time with civic engagement. I look forward to helping my mayor and my council in serving them and our community. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Brook?
Welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
So you have two sons, 10 and 7?
10 and 7. They go to Wesley Chapel Elementary School, where I went to elementary school.
And you guys enjoy the park?
We do, yes, very much so.
Will you be-
I think the boys won a stone contest one year.
They did. Both of
They were
them.
younger, yeah.
And then when we had the Rock and Roller Festival, which I loved, the car show and everything, my husband won some trophies. We still have them on display. So that was fun. I love the park. It's such a gem, a jewel in our community, and it's definitely something I look forward to supporting and helping.
So I will appoint you to seat number 5 with a terminating date of 6/30/2025. And then in our new procedure, it says, just like previously, you're notified if you want to continue to the next term. Okay?
Thank you
So,
very much.
Thank you. So the first meeting will be the third Thursday of the month at 6:30. Fourth Thursday of the month at 6:30.
Fourth Thursday.
So we have,
So that's 7 seats filled. Ted comes to the Parks and Rec meeting, we can get him appointed in October. And then when Chris rolls off, if Janet Brower is still interested, she could be appointed. She just needs to come to a council meeting. And Amy, will you let her know to try to come onto a council meeting to introduce herself?
Absolutely.
And I'll give Ted some time too the next time we see him to introduce.
So we're holding off on appointing Ted? Or did you appoint Ted?
I have not heard
I
back
held
from
off because he hasn't been to a committee meeting,
Okay, so
because it didn't happen.
we did, 1 was Joel Downs, 2 Gordon Oliver,
3 Wayne Todd,
3,
4 Julie Thomas, but ending 8/11/25.
mhm,
5 Aaron LaCroix, E-R-I-N.
okay.
6. Sorry, I messed up. 6 we don't have. 6 is open. 7, 8,
7 is passed.
7 is
8
Pat,
Chris
and
McBride.
8 is Chris McBride.
Was there a time frame on Chris McBride?
12/13/2024.
and what's the
Unless she wants to stay.
What's the expiration date for seats?
And Mayor Fuller, one more comment. The dates on these are just so we have a fully informed committee. The people who are appointed for a year aren't less than the 3, It's just at the end of the year, we reappoint them for 3 so that if a couple of people fall off on their term ending date, we still have people with a year and 2 left on the committee.
So I will send the new committee documents to all the members for them to review. If you have a glaring feedback, you can certainly, but I think you'll find it's pretty straightforward with the combination of the committees. All right? Thank you, council, for making that somewhat painless. Infrastructure and development updates. We have the lovely Miss Amy Black from LJB Engineering. As some of you have seen, Hurricane Debbie really put a hurting on our failing dam, and people are not listening to the stay off the pedestrian pathway and trail, so we're a little concerned, and Amy's going to talk to us a little bit about that tonight.
Yeah, so I want to go back and give you a real brief for benefit of everyone who might not know updates so far. We completed design plans for a full repair and replacement of the riser structure that's there now. Those plans have been approved now for almost a year. We've got all our environmental permitting permits, all approvals, dam safety, ready to go out to bid. In fact, we put it out to bid already. We're awaiting the FEMA grant funding that we've been assured, I guess, or told by the dam safety staff at our state level that they're hoping to get all of the projects that have been applied for funded, and they believe that they're going to get funding for all of it. So we feel pretty confident we're going to get funding, but the grant funding, in the way FEMA does business, we thought we were going to get it in March or April. It didn't come through. They extended the deadline. We thought we were going to get it in August. They extended the deadline. So we had bids scheduled to be open. We pushed that deadline out. We thought it would be here by September 1st. They've pushed it out again. The new date for when the last submittal documents need to begin is now middle of November. So I highly suspect it'll be December or even January before they make that final award. So, and in the meantime, while all of this is happening...
Did they give a reason why they keep pushing it back?
No.
We are the federal government.
They don't even give a place you can ask for a reason. So in the meantime, the dam is continuing to experience erosion, and the last storm, Tropical Storm Debbie, that brought so much rain, opened up a void outside of the riser. And when John went out to inspect, there was this large void on the upstream side of the dam where you can see water going in. And when you go on the downstream, you can see water coming out, not from the pipe, like through the dam. So that lets us know that there's a void that is fully open for water to pass through outside of the pipe through the whole dam. So it is really a matter of time before the whole dam collapses. And now we're starting to see, with this last storm, even some cracks in the asphalt opening up. So, I recommended that we close the trail. The staff did a great job, but I hear reports every time someone goes out there that people are going around the tape or around the fencing and just walking. And I just can't stress this enough. It is not safe to be on the dam or on those trails between the dam and Lester Davis, all of that downstream area, because when the dam breaks, if there's water behind it, it will be a deluge of a wave that won't take anything in its path.
We've lowered the height of the water level, probably, 4 or 5 feet?
Yeah, it's several feet down, but currently there's still a trickle of water coming through. Dam safety we did activate our emergency action plan. We've notified the county emergency management director, the fire department. We've notified all the emergency agencies like we were supposed to. Dam safety has been out to inspect. They recommended that we keep the water level even lower than it is now, so that so there's no chance of water coming through that void. John did a great job of lowering the water, but each time it rains, it comes up. So water's going through until we can get it lowered back down. I called Dam Safety today because I'm trying to get contractors. We just can't get anyone out there with a pump immediately, within a short amount of time. So I called Dam Safety today, and we do have a siphon. They're going to bring it out in the morning and lower the water level yet again. It should remain low until this weekend, when we're gonna get more rain. So since it's gonna be now what seems like months before we can actually get a contractor in to do the full repair, it is my recommendation that we do an emergency breach. It won't be a full breach to lower it all the way to the bottom of the pond, but a partial breach just to open it up so that when we get rain, there's a place for the water to go through safely and it's already notched. And we don't get the unexpected breach that could put someone in harm's way.
And who will do that breach?
I have sent some emails to a couple of local contractors asking for quotes. The one contractor that I know is local who submitted a bid today, but we didn't have enough bids to open. We needed 3 and we only had 2.
But that was for the entire dam
For the
remediation.
entire dam. Yeah, but he told me that he thinks he could have a crew out within 2 or 3 weeks to do an emergency breach. He was not able to give me a quote today for the price. He's got to go run some numbers and get that to me in the next day or 2. So I expect to have that, and I will get a second one from the other bidder that we got bids from.
Now, am I correct in assuming you want to do this preliminary breach or safety breach? We want to do this breach for safety. We've already lowered the water level like 5 feet, and I got a question for George if he's available. All we have up is some orange fencing. I mean, it's a park. There's no way to prevent somebody from ignoring a sign, ignoring a fence, and going around it. What's our legal obligation if someone decides to ignore the fence and ignore the sign and go over it and walk out onto something that we know is not structurally sound?
You do the best you can. You put up, you do what you do, which is put up fencing and signage. I mean, the only way to ensure that is that you don't have any potential liability is to build a 100-foot wall around it, right? I mean, that's the only way you can. So, I mean, I'm not being flippant with your question. It's just the best you can do is warn people as aggressively as you can and put in as much barrier as you can to stop people from entering into that area.
And based on our engineer's recommendation, I think council should make a motion to do the emergency breach as soon as we can find a qualified contractor or bidder. I don't know if we need to call, we could guesstimate an amount of money now, if we should call emergency meeting once we have it.
This is an informal bid, so we don't have to have 3 bids. There are no advertising requirements. So once we get 1 or 2 in, the council wants to motion for Mayor and Amy to negotiate a contract not to exceed, say, I don't know, say 60,000, and then if it's more than that, we need to convene with another either emergency or special meeting.
Well, I guess my question is, if we do this emergency breach, is that going to create a physical cut through the dam that's going to prevent people from walking over it? Because right now, people are like, oh, look, there's a trail. I know there's a fence in front of it, but I can still walk over
People
and
do
ride
not
my
see
bike
the
over it.
damage because the damage is beneath the pavement. So no
Well,
one
once
knows.
this
I mean, I
breach
get it,
happens, there's
they
going
don't
to
see
be
the damage.
there's going to be a gap.
There'll be a gap, yes.
It's not like someone's going to say, I'm going to go ahead and walk on this, I don't care if it's closed or
And
not.
it'll be, I'm thinking probably 8 feet from the asphalt down, probably about 8 feet deep. The bottom channel will probably be 5 feet wide. We'll have to put riprap on the bottom of the channel to meet the erosion control for the state. But if we slope the sides back, like at 3 to 1, we can just grass the sides. So I'm hoping that we can do, kind of the minimal, since it's an interim measure, because you really don't get that money back. I mean, it'll save a smidge, but not anything significant off of the overall bid that we expect for the full repair.
But when you say full repair, the dam was originally built in 1972, so it's more than 50 years old, so it's not surprising that galvanized pipe is deteriorated. The question is, there were very few, if any, requirements when it was built back in 72. The requirements now are much more stringent. Is this going to be a repair of the existing dam, or is this going to be rip the entire old dam out and put a new dam in to today's standards?
A little bit of both. Because we didn't have the standards that we have now, back then, the pipe is very small. So in order to pass the design storm for a high hazard dam, it's not the 100-year or even 500-year or even the 1,000-year. It's the 1/3 of the probable maximum in the entire state is around inches in 24 hours. So I mean, it's a big event. So a third of that, you have to, 10 is the third, that's 30 inches. I mean, it's a big event that you have to pass. So the riser barrel will be much larger. It'll be a double pipe. So essentially, in order to excavate to put that pipe in, it is essentially replacing the whole dam. But we did have Geotech come out and do some borings, and they found that that a good bit of the dam is, the soil is suitable. We'll be able to reuse the soil. So the dam, the embankment itself, the soil part, is not the issue. It's the corrugated metal pipe that is failing.
It's just when I saw the initial numbers, what concerned me was, one of the numbers was for doing a repair job. The other number was, well, if we just tear out the entire thing and build a brand new dam from scratch, it was actually less than doing the repair job.
Well, the RFP that's out there is to basically take it all down and rebuild it,
Yeah.
so.
We'll rebuild it, put a much larger riser barrel in, open up that emergency spillway a little more, and put a prefab bridge. The decking that's over there now has the fascia that takes out like half of the flow volume, and that reduces the capacity and we need that full amount. They will only approve it if the bottom decking of the bridge is not below the full value of the flow value of the open of the year. So it'll be a prefab and just kind of come and set down. They'll build piers on each end. It'll be one complete span.
And I assume since you've been involved in this for so long, you understand that this is considered a high hazard dam, but originally when we bought the park, it was not. It was not considered a high hazard dam. It was the development that's happening downstream that changed the qualification of the dam. So when we bought the property, we didn't think we were inheriting a problem from the 70s.
She learned all this when she put in for RF.
Yeah.
for
So
RFQ.
when a dam is classified as high hazard, doesn't really mean that it's anything about the condition. It really is, if the dam were to breach, even if it's a perfectly built, brand new dam, if it were to breach, what would happen downstream? If there are any structures that would be inundated or roads that carry more than 250 cars per day would get overtopped, that would raise that level to a high hazard classification.
And that's
that
changed
just
over the
means-
last decade.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
And that just means a bigger design storm that you have to plan for, a little more stringent on the design parameters of what you have to build.
And in one of those dam safety emails, since they don't play, they said if people can't stop walking on it, they're going to close the park.
Yes,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Why don't we just close the park until January or something?
COVID. COVID nightmares, no. But council, we do need to decide tonight about the emergency breach. After we decide about that, then we can talk about the events. But first, let's let Amy finish anything she has to say.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a cost estimate, and for something that you're asking a contractor to pull his crews off of another job, I think it's really hard to anticipate what that cost is. So we can pass those on to you, when I get those later this week. I expect to get quotes from hopefully the two contractors that have already put in a bid, because they're always familiar with it.
I think we're into a situation where we don't really have too many options.
No, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, so.
So we need a motion, and then you either need to pick an amount that you're okay with, or we're going to have an emergency meeting after we get some quotes.
I wouldn't mind having an emergency meeting.
Okay, so then I need a motion to enable Amy to go ahead with looking for contractors and quotes for an emergency.
Prior to the motion, I have one question. Amy, you said the emergency breach is going to be down about 8 feet?
Yeah, I want to get it down low enough to where the existing pipe and void is. We don't need to go any further than that, just enough to open up a notch to allow the water to flow through.
And how much water will that leave in the pond afterwards?
I'm thinking in the deeper section, there'll be 3 to 5, then 5 feet maybe, but that's a small area. Once you get further back, then it'll be much less for sure.
So any fish that are in the pond now will have more than enough water to stay there.
Yeah,
And then the fishing pier might actually be sitting on the bottom.
maybe.
We also have to think about either, at least turning off.
We have to turn off the irrigation system, yeah.
Or removing it altogether, so that's.
I think we-
as well.
So John gets back, let's just turn it off.
Tell me back next week.
Yeah, we have the ability to do that. The other question I had was, I just got finished doing some remodeling, and the remodeling contract consisted of first demolition and then building the new. With doing this emergency breach, is that going to affect, since we're already taking out down 8 feet, a big section, is that going to reduce the RFP?
Possibly by a very small amount though, because they'll have to do something with all that material, and we have to line the bottom of that channel with riprap, so the contractor will have to do something with that. It'll be reduced on site, but it's moving it.
Okay.
So council, do I have a motion to ask Amy to find a contractor and quotes for an emergency breach of the dam at Donald Park?
So motion.
Second,
Discussion?
yes. How do we handle the cost? Do we plan for an emergency meeting once we get numbers back?
I think that makes the most sense, and then look at doing contingency funds for, which is exactly what those funds are for.
Oh, I don't think there's enough money in contingency.
Well,
No.
we'll have to see, and we're gonna cross our fingers that the federal government doesn't push it back. The grant release, that they keep dangling like a carrot in front of the horse. But we don't have much option.
Yeah, the reality is we'll pay whatever we have to.
Yeah, you gotta keep people safe. And the people who are emptying tomorrow, hopefully, right? We can,
Oh, yes, dam safety is bringing a crew out to lower the lake for the first time. Completed our case, and we couldn't find anyone, so they'll be out in the morning to empty the lake.
Mike, do you know how to turn the irrigation system off? Do you know how? Does anybody know how? I do not know how. Would you be willing to go turn it off?
In the morning?
Yeah.
No, there's two things. There's the fountain, and then there's the irrigation
Turn
system.
it off.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm gonna do that.
they won't be out before 10 a.m. He said it would probably be between 10 and 11.
Good, because I sleep till 9.
So they're coming from Mooresville, and they have to get all their stuff together. So it'll be.
So will you do that first thing?
I'll take care of that in the morning.
Thank you.
Yeah. And again, the only thing that if we're going to have an emergency meeting and we don't know what the price is going to be for the breach, I don't want to find out that we're going to spend more money on the temporary fix than what we're going to spend on if we just do the entire project.
I think we're thinking like, I'm guessing like 60-ish, 60,000 for and then $1 million for the other.
Yeah.
It's a fraction of a fraction.
Yeah.
So is there any plan to work on the bottom of the pond, get all that stuff?
That was one of the things that we were talking about doing as part of the RFQ for the dam.
But if we lower it, somebody's got to get those dead bodies out of there. You're around tomorrow, Kenner. You might want to just drive through the parking lot at the park.
Currently, sediment and debris removal from the pond itself is not part of what we had asked contractors to bid on. And we don't have permitting for that either.
Is that something that needs to be there?
Or do we need to install like orange netting around the entire pond?
Like just for the interim, like while the lake is draining.
No, like after, to keep people, if the pond level is really low, to keep people out. Because Kathy's already been swimming in it.
Thank you, Mayor.
So, will people stay out of it? Are we at risk for people like going in the mud more?
In the mud?
Yes, ma'am. I watched and looked into several videos concerning lowering dam or lowering the waters in ponds and things. The key aspect of it, a lot of it is you're going to leave a lot of fish that's going to die in there. There's going to be a smell, there's going to be flies, and there's also going to be, depending upon the bottom of the lake or the pond, I'm not sure how soft it is, could actually be very quicksandish and problematic that way. I would recommend definitely, keeping everybody out of that pond. hopefully.
Can we add that to our quotes
We
to
can
have
the fencing.
around the entire
Absolutely.
pond?
Yeah, and the current water level, even though it's low, grass goes all, it looks like grass all the way down, even though it's mucky and murky at the water's edge. When we lower it another couple of feet, there won't be grass. It'll be mud, it'll be very clear that it's muck and not easily to walk on. So it will probably deter people, but.
I wish I believed that.
We can definitely put that for the contractor. That's really not much of a cost to put the orange fencing.
All the way around.
We'll have footprints and or call to 911 to
Absolutely.
rescue somebody.
Absolutely.
Well, we've said from the very beginning that we've said from the very beginning that we really want to watch the fish and try to minimize the death toll there. Can that be relayed to the people that are doing this, or is there anything else that we can do? Gordon, is it just going to happen that this fish going to die? Yes, sir.
If I may. I did check with Fish and Wildlife about transferring maybe some of the fish out of there, but they said that there is a problem with certain bacteria among fish, and they won't allow fish to be transferred from one pond to the other. I was going to allow them to just move everything over to our Lindenwood pond over here if they wanted to do so. But that was an issue. They wouldn't allow the transfer of the fish. So there is going to be some smell and some flies. And it may attract some animals. And part of the issue that was the people that were walking dogs near these ponds, their animals got stuck in the mud, and then there was some problems. So it could domino.
Well, there are some bears in the area.
too. Can the fence be staggered so that there's a way for wildlife to get around it? You know what I'm saying? Like when they build the Jersey, whatever they call those big Jersey wall kind of things. There's an exit and an entrance for if there was a large animal. Or
I defer to you or the contractor on that.
And the orange silk fencing is usually 4 or 5 feet tall. That would discourage, deer can jump over.
I was gonna say, deer can jump over anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, opening it up for animals also opens it up.
Yeah, I don't want
to.
a deer can jump out, or somebody will run through it. I want it kept for people. I love the animals, but we gotta keep people safe. So, do we vote? All in favor? So that's gonna happen. Expected emergency, Amy will let us know. Have an emergency meeting next week to discuss price. Anything you wanna add before we talk about it? Okay.
Thank you.
One other question. Amy,
Sure.
you're reaching out to the 2 GCs that did present budget or numbers today?
Yes.
Okay. Do
So
you-
we'll rebid it.
Understood. But do you have others that you can reach out to?
I
Well,
can.
two questions. Do you have others, and do you know if both of these companies have teams available within the next 2
I
to
know
3
one
weeks?
of them has teams available in the next 2 to 3 weeks. He said he could get somebody out. I haven't heard back from the second one. I certainly have other contractors. I sent the original plans to probably a dozen contractors, and 2 is what we got back. Contractors are just really busy right now. So having someone that would have a crew available in the next couple of weeks is probably unlikely, but I can certainly send a message to more than just those 2. I know those 2 have been out. They're familiar with the site because they put in bids, so that's why I thought they would be able to give us a bid quicker.
Do you know anybody?
I was gonna say, if it pleases the council, there's a couple that I know of that are here in the village.
That would be awesome.
With merit phone calls, nothing else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, an emergency breach, that's just a breach, is a very different project than putting in the whole large riser spillway and bridge. So it's possible that it would be, a contractor that wouldn't have looked at it as a whole picture might look at the smaller. So yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Okay, good.
So Amy, will you share well, I guess David, are you gonna reach out to them?
I will, either way, I can forward the information.
Okay. Will you
To the
forward it
office,
to, do you want the information, Amy, at the other?
You can forward it to me, actually, if you forward, I don't think I brought it, my cards are all in her office. So if you forward the information to Kathy, she can get it to me, and I will get all the information to them so that they can.
So, that leads us to, so we'll have to rebid, right? If we don't get 3 bids this time, we can open them, right? So, stay tuned for information on that. Events at the park. Amy has already reserved the train for the Fall Bash. Now there will be no circle for the train to travel in. I also have concerns about people parking at Southbrook and walking all the way around. That's quite a trek for little kids. So I just need council's thoughts on possibly canceling Fall Bash. I mean, at the rate we're going, people, it's looking like Coco's and Carol's too. Amy and I did speak briefly today about, depending on the hurricane weather and a few other things, we could do an event here, talk to Aston about using their parking lot, and have the train come around in our parking lot for the children. So there are some other ideas maybe for the committee to discuss. But I personally don't have people, we don't have to close the park if we don't have to.
Question, are we doing a train for both events?
Just,
Or just Coco and Carol?
oh, it's just because it's Carol, so. She might can get her money back, or we might can look at doing something here.
Or Christmas in July.
Because we've already, I know we've already promised the elementary school their choir could perform here. So,
What's the problem with having it here? There's a whole bunch of empty space out there.
that would be, I guess, for the committee to decide, and depending on what council decides about moving forward with the Fall Bash and the Coco.
If we can have them, I think it'd be better to have them rather than cancel them and just change location.
Change the venue.
Yeah.
Yes, fine.
There may be some additional construction going on around Christmas, if possible, but
Oh, yeah, with the new,
because a lot of the stuff, a lot of the infrastructure work is already permitted. So I'm just FYI, there could be additional stuff going on over here.
however, there are two churches right here that would maybe be interested in a partnership.
Yeah, but they're not planning on doing anything on our property. Our property is fairly large.
Well, it depends on if Piedmont Natural Gas is working back there through there too.
Is this something that we have to decide on tonight, or can we add this to the conversation?
I think we need to decide about the Fall Bash tonight.
I think we cancel Fall Bash at the park. And then the committee can discuss whether or not it's feasible to do a Fall Bash at an alternative location.
It's a good idea.
Yes, Amy.
The committee won't meet till end of September, so that gives 2 weeks for them to plan and advertise.
So we'll have to decide tonight, council. Fall Bash or not Fall
Any
Bash?
input from you, Pat?
Did you cancel?
I
feel like we should cancel.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
The committee is still being gelled together, and we are on the side caution.
So make a motion to cancel the Fall Bash, Kathy?
Make a motion to cancel the fall 2024 bash at Dogwood Park because of the dam issues.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
So you're saying cancel it at the park, you're not saying cancel the event altogether?
Cancel the event altogether.
Cancel the event altogether,
Yeah, because they don't meet till later.
but they could have an emergency meeting.
All right, all in favor? Oh, you have more discussion?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, all in favor?
Oh.
And one opposed, but,
Deb's opposed.
so y'all already have some fun stuff to put on your agenda for your next meeting.
Yeah, and so in regards to the Coco and Carol's, do we need to go ahead and cancel that at the park and then let the committee think about an alternative location for that event? Because they should have time to do that if they.
I think that's smart. I think it's smart.
Yeah, because this problem is not going to be fixed in weeks, not even months. It'll be sometime next year before this is.
And if it's not, I mean, there are several locations to reach out to potentially, so.
Can we just make a motion to change the venue?
No, no, go for it.
Make a motion for us to cancel the Coco and Carol's event at the park this year and ask the committee to consider if it's feasible to have an alternative location for our Coco and Carol's event.
Like here at the town hall.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay,
I said an alternative location.
okay.
The door's open for them.
Is there a second?
I second.
Now you can talk.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, the committee has got their work cut out.
Amy, you're gonna put that on the agenda for Parks and Rec?
And before we move on,
It's
I
not
would
Parks
like
and
to
Rec
thank,
anymore.
Amy and Kathy and their husbands went out to put up some netting. That's when Kathy decided to investigate the depth of the pond. And thank you to Gordon. I didn't know you had a hurt leg, but he's been, doing some repair work in John's absence. And council, I do have to say that I think we need to consider finding a part-time replacement for John when he is out of the country. He was not even on the plane when my phone started blowing up. It is tempted. There's dog poop here. So I think we need to put that on our wish list of.
I think it's easier just to cancel John's vacation.
So, any further questions about the dam? Okay. Commercial center development, as Emily shared, rocking and rolling. Hopefully we'll see groundbreaking for Taco Bell soon and groundbreaking for a grocery store and a retail building and a medical office building by the end of the year. We still are waiting for Piedmont Natural Gas to tell us the new pipeline or the new relocation. Sadly, I think Wesley Oaks is probably going to get the worst of it.
On the grocery store, do we know who that's gonna be?
I don't think anybody's signed it.
NCDOT, any questions about the commercial center?
Can I make a note about the
Absolutely.
Piedmont Natural Gas?
Yes, sir.
I did contact Lee Jensen because I did not think he was aware, the county was aware. I was also having a discussion with Aston about where the pipeline was going to go and the impact on the trees that buffer them from Wesley Oaks and as well as us from Blackstone. So I did reach out to Lee, and there wasn't anything on the plat that indicated whether that natural area behind the houses over there is something that was required as part of the development, or whether it was something the developer put in on their own volition. Just given the age of the development, I don't know what the county's regulations would have been at that time. And so he is looking into it. The plans are in storage because of the age of but he did ask somebody to investigate that.
Is he looking at Wesley Oaks and Blackstone?
Yeah, I mentioned both to him.
Okay. Would it, is behoove the right word, to reach out to Piedmont Natural Gas and offer them to put it on our side, not in the trees?
I think they would prefer not to cut down trees if they don't have to, just because that's just an extra expense for them. But I think a lot of it's going to depend on the interaction between our stormwater control facility and where the pipeline needs to go.
Well, if you talk to them, we would love to not have it. We would love to save all those trees, or Deb's going to chain herself to one.
What are we talking width-wise here? A pipe that's this big around or a pipe
30
that's
foot.
30
30
foot?
foot? 40 foot? I saw it.
The easement size, they're often 50 feet wide. They said that they would try and minimize the size to limit the impact, but there are state and federal regulations about the transport of natural gas that they have to maintain some clear areas so that they can observe what's going on and also to keep mowed so that trees don't grow in roots, something like that. Yeah.
Which also severely impacts the use of our land. I'll say on there. Severely. So, but I would rather save the trees if we could, if it's any way possible. Any questions for Bob? Okay. Roundabout. I haven't heard any updates. We're just still assuming that they're going to break ground at Potter Wesley Chapel in June. Fingers crossed. Temporary light at Potter and Parker has been giving people headaches since before it started. I really can't. Are you from DOT?
Me?
No.
No, not me.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I got out here a little late, but I'm a neighbor who lives here where the roundabout is going to be built. And of course, it's going to be big, it's going to affect your property.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that roundabout. It's not even on our paperwork yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I keep getting letters from lawyers and more letters, but nothing.
I don't even know where they stand with the 84 widening. So we have not been given any dates for construction. So the only roundabouts we know are Potter and Cuthbertson and Newtown. Yours is not even on our agenda yet.
Yeah, since 2017, they've been talking about that.
Yep. Yep.
Well aware of the delays.
I'm kind
But
of.
we know nothing.
Okay, now if you don't mind, going back perhaps to the water issue, but we do have their stream of water, we have an easement.
Okay, so what I would ask you to do is email our planner,
Okay,
okay? Because it's just helpful to get it in writing. If you will write down your email, Emily, do you have your card? Let her get you a card and you can get it in
that would
writing.
be great, it's just a few years ago, I went around,
Yeah.
all the different cities, and everybody said.
Yeah. So we're gonna get you email, so she'll bring it right up to you, okay?
Okay, great, thank you.
All right. So Potter and Potter, we're hoping June next year. Temporary light's been causing headaches. Lori said she waited how many minutes?
Well, at 5 till 5 this afternoon, green arrow to turn from 84 eastbound to Potter. Only one car was able to enter the intersection because the intersection was blocked from people going west on 84 making right turns. And just kind of lost a whole lane there for left turn.
So I have been telling people to submit a complaint on the North Carolina Department of Transportation website. Maybe the squeaky wheel will get some, squeaky mouth will get some keys.
It seems like what they need to do is maybe adjust the timing to some
Well, no,
degree.
it's the volume. It is just the volume, because what was happening was there is no right turn lane, but that does not stop anybody from making a right turn lane off of 84. And so it just kept going, and you could see down the other end, and then once we got onto Potter, spent a good period of time, enjoying the corner field of weeds.
So anytime you hear somebody complain, please have them go to NCDOT and detail their upset.
And at 6:40 tonight, there were no issues anywhere. There was hardly any traffic, which is unusual for that time of year.
I've gone back through that intersection about 3 times because I do a lot of shopping up in that area, and the times that I've gone have not been busy times, and it's been nice to see everybody just being able to go and not have to sit there and their line's not backed up. So I mean, there is that.
Hopefully they're at least safer.
Yeah, yeah.
David said he saw somebody at Shamwood and Potter.
There were initial survey people out there marking, I guess, right-of-ways or pole placements or something. But yeah, there was activity out here Friday.
And then the temporary lane and roundabout, Mike did well with his homework assignment and has some information to share with us tonight.
Yeah, after our last council meeting, I went to the county and specifically spoke with the Bjorn about this issue. And the first thing that I was told was that the new senior housing development on Cuthbertson Road, close to a Lowe's hardware store, was initially told that they had to put in a left turn lane at the corner of Potter, at the corner of Cuthbertson Road and Newtown Road, and that was going to be a condition of them getting certificates of occupancy. And we know that they were going to try to do the work in the summertime when school was closed and the traffic on Cuthbertson Road was lighter. The first summer, they started building, no work was done. The second summer, which is the summer we're just finishing up, just before school let out, we saw a bunch of survey crews out there putting orange stakes down, and we thought it was going to get done over this summer when school was out. When school started back up again, and not a single bit of rock has been moved or asphalt laid, everybody started complaining again, hey, it's been 2 years, you're supposed to make this a condition of the subdivision getting approved, and that's when I was informed by the county that it was only, they were only going to hold up occupancy permits on phase 3 of their development. Phase 1 and phase 2 is what they're working on now, but not until they get to phase 3 will they hold things up. So I immediately left that meeting, I ran into Amanda and Jim at the hardware store, and then I went from there to that subdivision. I said, when will you be on phase 3? And that's when I was informed that probably next year they're going to be at phase 3, and I informed them of the conditions the county had put on the permits. I said, you're going to be building houses that you can't sell if you don't have that left turn lane in. So a day or two later, I got a call from the developer, not the sales agent, but the actual developer, and he was kind of aware of it, but I think it really kind of lit a fire under him that he said, oh, I'm going to have to get this turn lane put in sooner than later. He knows that his options are to do it next summer, but he wants to have houses built and sold before that. Or the alternative is, instead of waiting until summer, do the left turn lane, but do it at night. Doing it at night is going to increase the cost about threefold. So he can either pay, instead of about $200,000 for a left-hand turn lane, he's going to have to pay about $600,000 if he does it and has the work done in the evenings. He didn't like either one of those options. His third option was to talk to Bjorn about the fact that as soon as they're done putting in this $200,000 left turn lane, they're going to rip it out when they go to put the roundabout at the corner of Cuthbertson and Newtown. So I'm like, why do I spend $200,000 to have it in for a year or two and then have to rip it out when the roundabout goes in? So my suggestion was that he talked to Bjorn about potentially spending that money on the roundabout, but only if that was going to move up the schedule for the roundabout at Newtown and Cuthbertson. So he said he was going to have a meeting with Bjorn after that, and that meeting happened sometime this week, and I was told I'd be getting a phone call before the end of business on Friday, and I didn't. So here we are. I was hoping to get a phone call again today, and I didn't, got occupied with some other stuff, but the long and the short of it is they want to help pay for the roundabout instead of putting in a left turn lane. And I said, I don't have any problem with that, provided it moves up the roundabout project. And basically, the portion that we have to pay on the roundabout, or the county has to pay for the roundabout, is a bribe to the DOT. If we added that bribe, the $200,000 from the developer, that should move things up. If it doesn't, then I would say just make them build the left turn lane, even though it's only going to be there for a year or so, before they turn around and tear it out and put in the roundabout.
Can I just say as a resident, I don't like that idea.
I don't either. I was going to say, I don't think that any amount of money was going to impact, especially not $200,000, was going to impact DOT at all. And if you count the number of people waiting at that stoplight and factor in the cost of their time, it's worth way more than $200,000.
And how good are DOT's schedule guarantees?
We know that they're terrible.
They're terrible.
But
So
keep in
they can
mind
say
that-
now and then next year, no.
Right there at the intersection of Newtown and Cuthbertson, there is it Fairfax Farm?
Fairfield
Farm? There's a little road right there off the intersection. The people of that neighborhood have approached council and said that they are in fear of putting in a left turn lane at that intersection, because if they're coming out of their subdivision and want to make it to the left and going down toward Cuthbertson High School, they're going to have to cross over not one, but two lanes of traffic to make that left-hand turn, and that's going to create a big problem with accidents. They would much rather see the roundabout go in where they could make a right turn only out of their neighborhood and either choose to go to Newtown Road or go around the roundabout and come back down Cuthbertson Road.
After sitting through CRTPO, nothing will move up the timeline of that. It's not a bribe, but we are so far from the top. We just got to see how much pressure we can put on him to go ahead and do it.
Right. Well, he knows. I asked Bjorn, where do I light the fire? Where do I try and get this moving along? And what the developer finally realizes, when he's ready to do phase 3 of that subdivision, he can build all he wants, but he's not going to get certificates of occupancy for those houses until that left turn lane is built. So he knows that that's his timeline. Unfortunately, just in the last few weeks, we were the ones that we were never told that it wasn't until phase 3 that they were going to start holding certificates of occupancy. We were told that it was going to be a condition of them selling houses, and it's only recently that they told us it's only for phase 3.
Should we have residents start blowing up the county commissioner's emails?
I spoke to one of the county commissioners since that and told him that you should expect, instead of people coming to our council meetings here and yelling at us for something we have no control over. We don't control what, because this is unincorporated Union County. I told the county commissioner, I said, you can expect people to start calling you or showing up at your next meetings, considering you have the
Yeah, they're the only ones
authority.
that hold them to it.
You're the only ones that can hold them to it, exactly right. So I gave them the heads up, and we'll see if that works. I have no problems directing all of the residents' anger and issues with traffic toward the county commissioners, because that's where it needs to be, not on us, because we have zero influence one way or the other.
That turnabout, that lane just needs to go as soon as.
Anything that will relieve traffic on that road, especially during rush hour, or from when school lets out, anything is better than nothing. But we are going to be hearing from the Fairfax Farm residents when that happens. So we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
Well, thank you for finding out the answer for that. So, did you hear that? All those Cuthbertson Road people start typing your emails to your county commissioners. Send them those traffic pictures. Call your news crew again. Get them out there. Thank you, Mike, for looking into that. General updates. Village Hall painting, we did get some references, and we are making a recommendation.
Five-star painting.
Yeah.
CertaPro and five-star painting.
I had some numbers.
It's folded in
Go
half.
ahead. I can't find my paper.
It's folded in half. One was
Yeah, I don't think
19,220.
So one of the things I noticed is you recommended 5-star, and they're like $1,000 cheaper than CertPro.
Right.
And but the CertPro quote had a lot more detail about exactly what they were going to do in terms of cleaning, preparation, and exactly what they would paint than the 5-star one.
They had the same, they just didn't write it all
Well,
out.
if it's not in writing and we sign up, we have nothing to stand on.
That's true.
I can get them to write it out in the same manner, but we all discussed the exact same things.
Well,
The
again,
trim, the repair and the ceilings,
that's not going to hold up if we have a problem, because they'll say, or they'll, why didn't you paint that? Well, it wasn't on the list. Well, you think it's the wall, I think it's the ceiling, and we weren't painting that. I just worry that it's a little too vague for it, but.
So he basically had like all 5-star reviews, and everybody said he would go above and beyond.
You.
5-star
Five
pictures.
stars.
How many references do we get?
3 each.
And then CertaPro was like really 4 stars. But I mean, they're so close. I'm good with whatever council says.
I'm really okay with either one of them. I just, the detail that was on the CertPro one,
Yeah.
I felt like was much more protective of the village in terms of us getting what we're expecting we're getting. Like the 5-star one doesn't say anything about cleaning anything or sealing anything that has to be patched or any of those details.
Those details are important.
And yes, they are.
I can ask 5-star if he's comfortable with doing that checklist that CertaPro gave us. I'm sure he will be. The reviews that I got were that he was very quick to please, he was a perfectionist, he was, he had excellent follow-up, that, his work was good, his work area was clean. I asked 6 key questions of each contractor to 3 different people, and I got all 5s on 5-star. I got 5s and 4s equally, and some 3s on CertaPro. So I can ask 5-star just to follow that template. I can just put it on a different piece of paper and ask him if he's good with it for that price. If he's not, we'll come back.
This is not a time-sensitive issue?
Well, I mean, the year's going to run out. I mean, we're in October coming up, September,
David, do you
October.
want me to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this quote probably has an expiration date, but, working with a company that frames over 5 million square feet a year, unless it's on the scope of work or in the contract, it's not going to get done. I don't have any problems moving forward with 5-star, but I would recommend that we copy and paste the scope of work, the details that CertaPro had, and make that part of the contract.
I will do.
right, everybody good with that? Is that a motion?
Is there a time,
Second.
second, part of the discussion, is there a timeline on the contract?
I'm sure there's a timeline on the quotes.
They're usually 30 days, but these guys are working with this. They,
I mean, to complete the
Five
work.
Star follow, complete,
In the
they
budget
told
year.
me a week.
Okay, so it'll take a week for them to do everything.
And then, well, you know, they can work at night, they can work during the day. I told them the day is fine. They said the paint might be overwhelming, so nighttime would be good if council's okay with that. But they told me they could have it done in a week.
Okay. So we have a motion, a second, all in favor?
One last question to qualify, we're not changing colors or anything, we're not gonna paint this room purple or anything.
Yes.
stripes.
With polka dots. Polka dots.
The colors will be neutral. They're going to change. Yeah, it's not going to be the same kind of yellowy age.
I
yellow.
prefer cigarette yellow.
It'll be light neutral colors.
Tar yellow.
In the same similar pattern that is already in the building.
Who made the
Nothing
motion?
crazy, neutral.
All right.
Mayor, who made the motion?
David,
Okay.
Lori seconded, and unanimous.
Thank you.
We do not have a contract to award for the dam remediation because we have to rebid it. Audio visual equipment, John and I have kind of narrowed it down. We're going to get together with Joel since he's young and hip and has some media expertise. We're going to get together when John gets back from his lengthy vacation. But we and hopefully present something to council in October. That leads us to mayor and council comments.
I'll start. I'd like to personally invite each one of you guys and everybody out there to our first community conversations, which is going to be held September 17th. That's next Tuesday at 6:30 here at Village Hall. Brandon Wicker, our sheriff's deputy, will be talking about the crime rate in Wesley Chapel, dangerous intersections, safety tips, and that kind of thing. And it's the first of what we hope to be, continual information sources or whatever. So anyway, that's one of the last things the Communications Committee did.
Yeah, but I have no intention of standing, that is the day of my surgery, so.
Oh, can we move it to the hospital then? Oh. I'll give you a break then. You don't have to come. You probably know all of it anyway. Yeah.
I didn't want you guys being rude for not showing up.
That's it.
Next.
I'll go next. George, when was the last time we had a quote, George?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna say May, April.
That's right.
It's been so
Long overdue.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, I think, once said, "Smile through the strain." This falls into that category. We're going to smile through the strain. CRTPO just got awarded $3.15 million for SS4A grant. What is SS4A? It is Safe Streets and Roads for All. The good news was that CRTPO, the Charlotte region, which is made up of Iredell, Union, and Mecklenburg counties, was only one of 11 that got awarded that in the state, and only one of 280 throughout the U.S. So that's the smile, is that we've got $3 million in that coffer for road repairs. The strain is that we're still over $500 million short for road repairs, road improvements throughout this region. So, we'll
Can you
smile.
clarify the difference between improvements and repair?
No, I said it should be projects. Yeah. Second thing, I don't know if any of you guys signed up for the 2024 Leadership Summit that's being held on the 11th at the Ag Center. It's being put together by the Union County Chamber of Commerce. I had RSVP, but that day I will be smiling as I go through the strain of getting my knee scoped, so I will not be able to go.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm putting this out here. Any of you guys are interested, you can take my spot.
I got a phone call on that just today.
I gotta work. But thank you, David. Good luck with your schedule. Anybody else?
I'll go. Just a comment about David's at the road. Read an article this past week, and it was talking about how every state is very anxious advantages to build more interstates, take over local roads and make them interstates because of the type of funding they get while they still ignore maintenance of all existing roads. And it's not just a North Carolina problem, but North Carolina's really bad. It's no surprise to any of us. But again, let's go with you. Forgive anything that falls from falling down.
Good luck with your surgery.
We'll be praying for you.
It is tentatively the 17th.
I guess I'll go last. Thank you to Amy Black. She's let us text her and annoy her with all of our pressing questions. I appreciate that. We are very lucky in Wesley Chapel to have an amazing staff to work with, and Vaughn and Emily and Kathy and Amy, and even two Amy's. The job is hard to do, but when you work with experts that help hold your hand and keep you on court, George, sometimes we appreciate all of you and all your help.
Yes.
Seriously, more than you know. And Vaughn's birthday is this week, so if you would give him a quick happy birthday before you leave tonight.
Happy birthday!
He'll be 25. We're the same age. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
Second.
All in favor? You got it. Well,